Welcome to Millennial Money Minutes, where we tackle tough personal finance topics in 5 minutes or less. With your host, Grant from MillennialMoney.com and Matt from DistilledDollar.com.
Hey everyone, today we're going to talk about immediate mastery. So, Wide Wisdom, Malcolm Gladwell's book, it takes 10,000 hours to really master and learn anything. But to turn that on its head, now more than ever, it's so easy to pay people just for an hour, a half hour, even 15 minutes of their time. So you can go right to an expert that's been doing something for 30 years or right to someone that's at the forefront of advice. And gosh, I actually thought about this idea of having a marketplace for 15-minute pieces of advice. Don't take that idea when I do it. But the simple idea, you just pay for advice. I had a question a long time ago about, not that long ago actually, but about LLC equity structures. And I had a really sort of specific question, and I found a lawyer in South Carolina that literally wrote the book on the topic that I was interested in, such a niche. But I reached out to him and was this is a guy that charges like $1,200 per hour, and I was able to pay him $350. He negotiated a little bit for 15 minutes of his time. So I called him during the end of his lunch, like, this is like what a hustler this guy is, and he literally told me exactly what I needed to do. So I didn't have to retain him. His minimum retainer fee is like $10,000. I didn't have to go fly down. I didn't have to have a bunch of meetings. I had one very specific question, and I got to that question by doing some of the legwork myself, obviously. So it takes a little legwork to figure out what you want to learn. But when you're able to actually isolate, 3 or 4 questions for an expert, totally worth throwing down some money to talk to them.
Yeah, so the last point right there, preparing for that conversation and knowing who it is that you're going to. Both those parts right there are vital, especially now it's so easy because, you can look people up online. A lot of these, let's just say if it's a law question, these lawyers are listed online, or you can look up, let's just say a random blogger in gardening and ask them a gardening question that you had. It's there's so many people that would, and in that case they'd probably do it for free and respond back about their different blog posts about that topic. So whatever that specific topic is, you'll be surprised. Just if you kind of search a little differently, and if you maybe even lean back on your network, someone might be able to do it for free.
That's a great point. It's also another way to build your network, right? Because once you engage with that person, then you have a relationship with them, so you can revisit them in the future, and that's a great way if you're just think beyond legal. People have hit Matt and I up for advice on like money or entrepreneurship. I've talked with some people. I've talked with quite a few people about SEO. They just had simple questions and they hit me up and they were thoughtful and to the point. And yeah, I've done the same with a bunch of people, with a bunch of experts, especially when I was, getting Millennial Money, launched and talked to some other personal finance bloggers. They were super open. And I didn't even have to pay. Like in some cases, if you write a really good email and, you ask a very specific piece of advice, you'd be surprised how often people will actually respond back to you. Even on Twitter, like I sent a question to Marcus Lemonis, the prophet on CNBC, just over Twitter, and he hit me up with the answer. So it was like just a quick tweet, quick exchange, like some value exchange.
Yeah, yes. Similar one I've seen is, you could say, hey, I've got 3 business scenarios, A, B, and C. Which one would you pick? You'll be surprised with something so simple like that. They might just respond back with like number 2, and that, I've heard about those sort of scenarios working. So, depending on, it's sort of, I forgot the old saying now, but the wisdom's in the question. The way the question's phrased is not necessarily in the answer, and that's really, it kind of speaks a lot to the person asking the question too. How prepared are they for that type of question? It's not just some other question that everybody else asked them that day, you can Google that woman's like favorite book and you'll find exactly. It's a very thoughtful question that no one's asked. Those are the sort of opportunities that, it gives you that immediate mastery into that subject that you need to know, but it also starts to build that relationship even too, and that's the next level wealth building strategy right there. But just again, immediate mastery nowadays, it's so easy.
Yeah, it's just to pay for it, and it's on a per hour basis. And on the flip side of that, not only can you buy it, but you can sell it too. And we talked a lot about that, building your skills and being able to repackage them and find people who need them and then sell is a great way to
going back to Malcolm Gladwell connectors.
Yeah, exactly. So this is immediate mastery. Hope you're having a good day wherever you are, and we'll chat with you soon.
Thanks for listening to Millennial Money Minutes. If you liked this podcast, please leave us a review on iTunes and subscribe. If If you want us to cover a specific topic, use hashtag Millennial Money on Twitter or visit millennialmoneyminutes.com.